Okay, let's talk about the 870 shotgun here. That's a Remington 870 Express. It's commonly called a pump action shotgun. It's got a little release right here on the trigger that when you press that in, that releases the slide. The slide won't come back. When I press that in with my finger, it releases the slide. The other way to get the slide back is to pull the trigger, then it releases the slide. So the way a pump, most people understand a pump. I'll go over quick little just how the pump works. Basically, the round is in the chamber or it's loaded here. Push the round up here, it's loaded in this magazine tube. So you have the rounds in here. When you pull the slide back, the bolt comes to the rear. This little piece right here, this follower, you'll see it pop up. When it pops up and that flies up, that loads around in there, and when you slide it forward, puts around the chamber, it locks it. When you pull the trigger, it releases it. So I pull back, it ejects the round. When I go forward, puts another round in. So that's a pump, 870 pump. This is what most cops carry in the U.S. Most police cars carry the 870. Pretty reliable. I like them. Easy to work on, easy to take apart, easy to clean. Will function even when they're dirty and neglected. So I just kind of took this apart, cleaned it. It's for a buddy of mine. Got some of the rust off it from sitting around for a long time, took out the trigger, did a complete cleaning. If you look at my 1100, I basically did the same thing to this pump action 870. The thing about a pump action that I see most people do is what's called short stroking or babying it. I'm screaming because the wind's coming this way, so I hope you can hear me. These guns are made for explosions and throwing out bullets, so they're well made. I see people wanting to baby them and go to put a round in. That's not the way they're designed to work. They're designed to work to where when you pump it, it's aggressive. It's fast. It's hard. You're pulling back hard. You're pushing forward hard. You don't baby these guns. When you baby, you end up not pulling it back all the way. The round gets stuck, called stovepipe. Then when you try to jam it, it causes a jam. When you work a pump action gun, it's hard. It's squeeze the trigger, squeeze the trigger, squeeze the trigger. And you need to practice that in order to be proficient with these guns. Every time you squeeze the trigger, you know this arm's got to come back and reload another round and I'm ready to go. Squeeze the trigger and I'm ready to go. If I have to do multiple shots, that's 3 shots really quick. Make sure you practice this if you have one of these guns so you know that it's an aggressive, hard, you're not going to hurt the gun. The more you do it, the more it becomes second nature, left or right hand. The other thing with a shotgun is that intimidates a lot of people is when they put it on their shoulder, they either stand straight or they lean back. And that's how you get thrown off balance and it makes the gun look more powerful than it is. All shooting stances, aggressive, leaning forward, weight on that front foot, that fighting stance, you're ready to lunge. I'm loading this gun in and I'm leaning forward. I'm getting into it so when it moves me back, I'm ready and I can go forward and maintain my stance and position. So basically I'm just going to fire a few shots here and make sure it works, make sure it functions. You can see how the gun works. So, in a combat load, as a cop or tactical speaking, if you're out of ammo, you don't want to be out of ammo in a combat or fighting situation. So there's a thing called a combat load or a emergency load or a immediate action drill. So when this gun is back, normally people will close it and put rounds in the bottom like it's supposed to be loaded. But in a combat load, if I want to get back in a fight and I'm out and I've got a round, I want this round in this hole as quick as I can. I'm gonna drop that right in that hole. The other way to get it in there is some people will have it in their hand. They're right-handed and they'll just come right around like this and just slide it right in there. And then slide this forward and I'm ready to go. I'm in action. So any way to get this round in this chamber quickest to get me back in a fight, I'm getting it in that hole as quick as I can. So if I want to lay it in my palm and just shove it in there, I can do that. It's in there so good it won't come out. If I want to reach under with my hand like this and cradle it and then just roll it in there, slide forward, I can do that. But you want to get that round in that chamber so I'm back in a fight and I've got a round. Then, once I have that round in there, I can stay on target and then load more rounds as I need it. I had this open. So if I've got a round in here that I just did that emergency load, now I'm on target, ready to shoot. If I see a target or somebody comes, I can engage, and then I'm gonna start shoving rounds in the bottom so I have multiple rounds. So I've got one round in here. I'm gonna go ahead and just fire it off because I don't want to really hurt my shoulder and I'm not trying to stay in this position. Most of my shots are gonna be what I call the pendulum. They're just gonna be under the arm so the gun can move and I can just shoot without taking all the brunt force. And again, with a pistol grip, short stocks, that works. I've seen people with a pistol grip try to aim a gun like this. You'll end up hitting yourself in the face every time. But I've seen it. So there's a round in the tube, there's not one in the chamber. So I'm gonna go ahead and I squeeze the trigger so it'll release. Now I'm gonna put this round in. You'll see the chamber work. Shove that right back in there. Now there's a round in the chamber. I'm gonna go ahead and fire off a round, make sure this thing works. That locked up a little bit there. I didn't like that. So I'm not sure if that's a problem or I jammed it myself. It should have pulled straight back. So I'm gonna do 2 rounds now. And make sure that works. Kind of jammed a little bit there. I'm not real happy with that. These should work a little bit smoother. I'm going to do multiple rounds. I'm just going to work the action here and see how this works. Okay. So that worked a little bit better. That's more what I wanted. I was probably causing the jamming by pulling a little early. I haven't shot this gun, so that was the first time I shot it. But looks like it's functioning, looks like it's ejecting. I'm going to shoot a couple more rounds. Looks like it's working okay. Pump action, Remington. This 870 Express, they have the 870 Magnum, they have the Wingmaster. The 870 is the brand, very good guns, reliable, lasts forever. I've got one in there that's probably from the 60s. Really nice, still works and functions. The more you use these, the smoother they get. The easier this action is, the easier the bolt goes. I mean, these are just great guns that last forever. This has a little butt pad on it, some of them don't, the older ones don't. You feel a little bit more, great gun. Again, in my other video I always say if I only had my chance of one gun, it would be a shotgun. I don't like it, but man, they're just great stinking guns. Can't say enough about them. Shotgun, I like the 1100 also, but the 870, I can cut this barrel down. This has a rib barrel, that ridge on top. Some of the barrels don't have this ridge. All you need is a pipe cutter, spin that around, you can cut this barrel off as long as it's legal. I think 20, maybe 16 inches is illegal for a rifle here in Texas. I'm not sure, I have to look it up. But whatever the legal limit is, you can cut it, and then it becomes not so, I don't have this long barrel to where I have to clear. It's open. Somebody yelled at me last time. Don't point the gun at me. Shut up. So, just good guns. Really like them. Recommend them. They have other pump shotguns. I don't know that much about a lot of other ones. I know Mossberg. I know there's some other ones out there that the Remington I think makes a 1200 or 16. I forgot what the Remington is, or the Winchester is. But I like the 870. Not getting paid. I'm not getting a free gun. I'm just my preference, and I like it because I've used it. I've seen them work dirty. I've seen them take abuse from cops. I've seen them sit in cars and cops put their cigarettes out in them and drop the cigarette butts in them, and the candy wrappers, they'll shove them down the barrel, and then all of a sudden you pull it out and you shoot it and you got shit flying everywhere, and you're like, what the hell? Because knuckleheads are sitting in the car and cops just ain't got nothing else better to do, so they shove shit down the barrel. And it's not gonna clog. Oh, that's dangerous, it could clog it. Look, to clog a barrel, this round's blowing out 1,200 feet per second. It's gonna clear whatever's in the barrel as long as you're not packing and tapping. Most of this stuff, you know, you find from just cops goofing off and throwing shit in a barrel, but they always work, always function. 870. Hope that helps. Put your questions in the comments. I'll try to answer them. We'll end that there.